What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mental Rep for yet another video. I'm going to try to make this one as short and sweet as possible. Again, touching on the topic of AI. Again, you already know how much I don't like AI from my previous videos, but I was literally just sitting down and I had to share something that I was seeing. It's almost like a vision, daydream, vision, not too sure, but I was literally just sitting down and what I saw was I was seeing virtual jobs. And what came to mind was the movie Ready Player One. If anybody don't know what Ready Player One is, just go and watch it. But pretty much there was a virtual reality realm where people were going in and they were working in this virtual reality realm. But when they came back out into reality, they were poor. You know, they didn't have a whole lot. Their houses were run down. Their living circumstances was like a mess. Like some of them were just abusive and so on and so forth. But when they go off into virtual reality, everybody is this character that they dream to be. It's very interesting. But in Ready Player One was interesting. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but what I do remember from Ready Player One was that there was this corporation that had a lot of workers. They had these stations set up, looked like a treadmill or something like that. They had these stations set up, and they had hundreds of workers working for them to try to win the prize in this virtual reality realm. They were pretty much slaves. I believe they owed a debt, and they had to work off their debt by playing this game for them. And they just had hundreds of people that were just like on these treadmill type of portal. I don't even know what it's called, but yeah, I literally see that happening in reality because already there's people who they're fascinated with AI already, and they come up with this lie, this fantasy of how they see themselves, but in reality they're as poor as dirt, or they don't necessarily have as much, or their teeth are not as perfect as they would hope, or their hair is not as perfect. They're coming up with these AI models of themselves. There's a lot of countries that don't necessarily have a lot of money, and I can literally see that people will be going off into virtual realms to work jobs or to do all of these things, which I think is very, very problematic, because the more that you escape from this reality, the more somebody else will be conquering it. The more people go off into conquer the virtual realm, which ultimately means absolutely nothing, because when somebody decides to turn it off with a click of a button, it's gone. Everything you ever worked for is gone. And all while people are distracted in the virtual reality realm, somebody's conquering your reality. And next thing you'll know, all that time that was spent inside of the virtual realm, you became more and more a slave in the reality realm. If anybody never told you, if you ain't never even heard that before, just know that you heard it here first, that literally virtual jobs, like virtual shops, and I know like I think Meta was already doing stuff like that, but it's just like now hitting me. Like I'm like, I see that coming. People are just like, those who don't have jobs, those who don't have work, they're going to go off into these virtual realms and work virtual jobs, literally virtual stores, like a virtual basketball arena. All of these things, I see it coming. If it's not here already, then it's probably going to be here eventually. And one thing I might add, even though this is the reality that we're living in with virtual reality, AI, and all of this stuff, as much as it can be overwhelming to think about at times, and as sucky as it sounds, you really can't escape it. This is the reality that we're all living in this virtual AI driven reality. It is a real thing. And you can't bury your head inside the sand wishing that it will go away. It's not going away anytime soon. So you just got to muster up and take care of, just handle business the way that you have to and just face reality. That's all I have for today. Peace and God bless everybody. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.